Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion. I am once again today joined by Dimzy from Dimzy's Domain. Dimzy, why don't you say hello to everyone listening?
Hello everyone, I'm Dimzy and yeah, it's great to be back on the channel. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been way too long, man. Anyway, so guys, I'm making this video and I got Dimzy on to basically to talk about this with me. A couple days ago, I actually released a video kind of saying why I personally believe they're actually ruining Goku's Super Saiyan Blue form, and I guess ipso facto they're ruining Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue form, considering the fact that Goku is, at least by some leaps and bounds of logic, stronger than Vegeta because he always has the Kaioken multiplier under his belt, while I guess Vegeta doesn't necessarily have that. Yeah, we basically, with me and MJ, basically discussed exactly why that was a particular issue for us going into this arc, because they're trying to level everyone else on the same playing field and give us a reason why, you know, they're bringing in people like Tenshinhan, Krillin, Roshi, and all the other people who really shouldn't be able to compete with Goku and Vegeta's blue form at this point. I mean, at some level, Goku and Vegeta, probably Gohan could, and I guess even some way they could have made Piccolo stronger really quickly, considering all the loopholes Namekians have in order to get stronger, and just essentially Piccolo's training regiment in the same time. And then Majin Buu is always kind of a wild card at the same time. He's basically indestructible, doesn't really necessarily exhaust very easily. So those guys were one thing, and so now the story is basically making all these plot points in order to give us a reason to suspect that they might be able to compete with, or at least showing that they could compete with, Super Saiyan Blue. And I know it's not just me, it's not just Dimzy, it's not just MJ. I know a lot of you guys really kind of reacted to that video, and that's why I'm making this one in particular. Is I don't remember names, I'm sorry. So if you did say this in the comment section below on that video, I want you to tell me in this video again, because some people threw this out there. It was pretty well received. And anyway, so one of the things I kind of got from the fans, Dimzy, and their ideas, their descriptions on why they think Goku's going blue, is because apparently, like, Goku has to go blue in order to give the humans or anyone who's going to be fighting in this tournament a reason to fight someone who they necessarily can't sense. And I really like that particular explanation, because Goku and Co, basically ever since, I guess, Z, especially in Z, them being able to sense ki, at least for the very first half of Z, all the way through fighting Frieza, was a huge advantage for them. And one of the things that kind of gave them that strategic advantage against everyone else that they were fighting about. And then, of course, you know, you kind of got away from that when you started, I guess, as soon as Cell showed up, you kind of got away from that, where the androids, they couldn't sense the androids, and then Cell kind of could do it too. And then Majin Buu really couldn't do it until he kind of became Super Buu. And there was a lot of reason in going into Super where that was a big deal. They couldn't necessarily sense Beerus, and the God Ki they couldn't sense. And so that's been like a huge kind of learning curve for everyone in this particular series in the Dragon Ball Z timeline. And that was one thing, even in the last preliminary matches we saw, they couldn't sense the people from Universe 9. So this is Goku's way, even if he's holding back a huge amount of his power, to basically show people like Krillin or 18 or 17. I don't necessarily think the androids can actually sense ki, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. But
no,
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, correct us if we're wrong. But you know, people like Tenshinhan, even Roshi, can start feeling this stuff. But if they can't feel it, how would they know what they're going to be fighting against? And it seems like Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and anyone else who actually even had a chance is also going to be feeling that particular problem in this tournament. So why not see if they can compete against something they're not necessarily sure how strong that thing is? So what are your thoughts on this, man? Do you like that idea? I know it was a mouthful.
Nah, I like it, but at the same time I do think that there's more to it. So the reason why I think that Goku goes blue is as you said, to let the other fighters kind of adapt to a fight where they're not sensing Goku because of the God Ki, as we've established this throughout Dragon Ball Super. But another thing is the fact that it's also to kind of, I don't think Goku's thinking too far ahead, but it's also to kind of encourage this sort of teamwork. If they can't sense him, they need to find a way to kind of feel him and somewhat sense him. So one way they could do that is when they introduced the notion of God Ki, they did say that there's this intense pressure, and if you kind of detect where the pressure is, that's another way to kind of sense where they are. And that's very evident when Vegeta tried to attack Whis, but then he couldn't really do it because he kind of froze up due to the pressure. So one of the reasons why I think that when Goku goes blue is the fact that so that they don't really get shocked by the pressure. And I know we did speak off air regarding, hey, they kind of did feel this somewhat due to them fighting against Beerus when he came and crashed the party, but that's one of the reasons why I think it's very important, especially to someone who may not have participated in the fight, such as 17. So Goku's showing them most of his arsenal with him doing a Super Saiyan Blue transformation, and that's one way to kind of fill people in. And when they do eventually do these team maneuvers, they're not going to be as shocked when suddenly Goku, Vegeta disappear from their sensing radar, whatever it may be, or because they have this feel of the pressure, or when they go blue, when they can't, as you said, sense the other Universe 9 members, for example, where they hid the key very well, they're still able to do this team formation or this team attack, which maybe Gohan or Piccolo might come up with. So that's one of the things which I think makes it necessary for Goku to go blue, and is very helpful as well. People are saying about power scaling. Yes, I do understand that the power scaling and the power levels is kind of silly, but I've just learned to turn my brain off, and that's a testament to how shit the writing is. But let's look past that. That's just my thoughts regarding why it's very necessary for Goku to go blue, and it may be silly to some in terms of power scaling, but in terms of the broader picture of them fighting as a team and doing these team battles and teamwork, it's very, very necessary.
No, and I really do think that you're right there. I mean, I've had a couple people, I can't remember, like, I'm sorry guys, I'm not necessarily looking at the comments while we're necessarily recording this, but one of the commenters on that video said that it didn't make sense to him whether, regardless, you know, all these issues, all these points that we've been making about why he's going blue and what strategic advantage that might have in order to see whether Krillin or Tenshinhan or 18 or 17 or any of these people could actually stand up to it, regardless of whether or not they could sense their opponent. I really think someone said that it doesn't really matter, like, as much as they want to showcase this as a strategy-based fight, we look at the logic of Dragon Ball Z, which kind of indicated that strategy wasn't really the main thing. Dragon Ball Z was a slugfest compared to the strategic fights and strategic attitude of the fights in terms of the original Dragon Ball series. So I guess that's like a really good point.
Regarding strategy, I see on the comment section, I see someone call Shame Ronstar, and they said something which is kind of interesting, because they said, what if it's Goku just practicing perfect ki control with Super Saiyan Blue in order to not kill someone like Krillin or whoever he's fighting? So even though Goku far outclasses, outmatches and outpowers Krillin and the other humans who he's going to fight, and who he probably is going to go Super Saiyan Blue against, because we don't know if he's going to go blue against Tien or Roshi, but that's another training regiment for Goku, isn't it, to kind of control his ki to make sure he doesn't kill his opponent.
No, that's also a really good, that's also a very good point to be made, and I definitely think that is worth something, especially since we know for a fact there's going to be people on these teams that just can't compete with Goku. I feel like if everyone is on Goku and Vegeta's level, then we're in a case of hurt, not necessarily just in terms of Universe 7's on a disadvantage, but also just because Universe 7 doesn't necessarily have an entire team that can compete with Goku unless we take this at its the most basic, basically, like all the fans are, and thinking that they're just trying to equal everyone out so everyone is on Goku and Vegeta's level, and then we're going to have an even more incredible fight. But at the same time, like we've all been saying, and we're all kind of annoyed with, a large portion of the fan base is they are nerfing, they are kind of ruining Super Saiyan Blue if they do that. But these are just reasons and kind of explanations that we've gotten from the fan base, aka you guys, just using our own kind of thought processes in this, but also getting all these like awesome ideas from you guys about why exactly he is going blue at every single fight that he does in basically this entire series. And I gotta say, like, it really does make sense. And I agree with some of the commentary and some of the criticism. I myself have said it as well. It's like you have Dragon Ball Z taught us that strategy didn't really matter. I mean, as much as we want to say that it mattered, it just really mattered who was the strongest in any given fight. I mean, boil it down to when Dragon Ball Z became its most self. I mean, it kind of boiled down away from any broader sense of story and just became, this is the epitome of what Dragon Ball Z is at this point, especially as long as the series is gone, was the entire Majin Buu saga. And that thing basically became who the hell was the strongest at any given time. And it didn't matter what, why, or how, or anything. I mean, they rest all of it on Goten and Trunks' shoulders, not because they were strategic, but because it's like, look, this is going to make you ultra powerful, and you're going to be able to take out this guy. So if anything, what they're really trying to do here, and I understand why it's creating somewhat of a divide between fans who are trying to figure out a cohesive way to explain why Goku is doing this and what it means for the franchise, versus how this kind of works narratively and structurally with everything that came before it, is the fact that we have multiple different series for this show, or this series, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Super, if you only count what's canon. And you have Dragon Ball being much more of a strategy-based martial arts type of franchise, and then Dragon Ball Z being much more of a cutthroat knockout brawl type of film or type of series. And then Super has been a mix of both, and this is what we're at right now. Is it's more so strategic based now. And I know a lot of people think, oh, you're overthinking it, but that's really what it is, and how we have to kind of take it. We can't overthink it to the point where just because they did this in Z doesn't mean they can do this in they should be doing this in Super. They'll do whatever they want. Like I said all the time, I will overanalyze this stuff, and it still makes me mad to a little bit. But as long as we have at least these particular, I guess, explanations that Dimzy and I have said here, I feel like I can be okay with it for the most part.
Even the show is explaining it himself, because we saw Gohan telling Goku, you know, when they were speaking to each other regarding the recruitment of Krillin, and then Goku just told him and said, you know what, it's not only about power. And this is where they're kind of emphasizing and telling us and trying to justify and kind of cover their own tracks that it's not all about power, it's kind of about strategy, which may justify the fact that Krillin, Roshi, and Tien, who to us, we know that they're far, far weaker than anyone like in Dragon Ball Super right now to be of significance. But although they kind of given them a power up, but they did tell us from the get-go, for this arc especially, we're going to be focusing on the strategy. And it seems like Goku is very aware of this, as he did tell Gohan, who was kind of naive, as he thought Krillin's a bit too weak and he's not good enough. So Goku going blue, there's far more strategy to it, although he's a bit of an idiot. And it's kind of weird because of the fact that they did say in the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, every time they transform, they take a lot of energy and stamina. So him transforming multiple times is a bit counterintuitive, but maybe they've changed. It's been a little bit of a while right now. But that's just my final thoughts to wrap up. Just blue Goku.
Just blue Goku. Guys, like I said last video we did with this particular subject, please make sure to go into the comment section below and tell us what you think about this particular subject. Why is Goku going Super Saiyan Blue? Do you feel like, again, do you feel like it's ruining the series? Do you feel like they can or should like seamlessly go between fights make sense, going all out brute force versus strategy based, and anything else you can think of, whether he wants people to perform without being able to sense, because that was a huge part of their advantage in the prior series and everything. I mean, anything you think that can help make sense of kind of the I guess strangeness of what's going on in terms of power scaling in Super. It's always been bad, but now it's a little bit worse, if not just I mean, it was already really bad before. So these are our explanations. Like I said, our explanations kind of mixed in with your guys' explanations. And anyway, before I go, I do want everyone to basically go down to the comment section below, or actually description section below, and please make sure to go hit that link. Please make sure to go support Dimzy. The guy makes really awesome content for you guys. Not just Dragon Ball. He also does Yu Yu Hakusho. No.
Do I?
He also does Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon when he has the time. So please make sure to go support him if you like that stuff. Anyway, we're going to catch you on the next video. Bye.